One Night Stand Horror Series, Episode 1. It happened a few years ago. I was staying at my late uncle's cabin out in the hills, a small, old-school wooden property nestled between dense trees and one long, winding road that nobody used after dark. I had just moved in a week earlier, mostly to clear my head. A breakup had torn through me, and the silence of the forest seemed like the right kind of place to feel miserable, in peace. There was a tiny bar down the hill about 20 minutes away. Dusty pool tables, a jukebox that hadn't been updated since the early 2000s, and mostly locals that stared at you a second too long when you walked in. The first time I went there, I met her. She wasn't a local, that much was clear. She had on a leather jacket over a simple tank top, bleach blonde hair tied in a messy ponytail, and a stare that burned. She made a pass at me that night, joked about me being too proud to say yes, but I had just finished cleaning out rat droppings from the attic that day, and my heart was still aching. I wasn't in the mood for flirting. She left that night, and honestly, I regretted not saying more. I looked for her for weeks, even asked around, but nobody knew who she was. 2 months later, I saw her again. Same bar, same look, but this time she was talking to an older man. I kept my distance until I noticed her staring back, eyes locked. I was getting ready to leave when she got up to use the restroom, and on her way back, she stopped right next to me. "Nice to see you again, Mr. Too Handsome. To say hi," she whispered with a smirk. I chuckled and tried to explain myself. She cut me off, leaned closer, and said, "If you're interested this time, wait for me outside. 15 minutes, max." Something about it felt magnetic, so I waited. As I stood outside, I noticed a guy standing off in the far corner of the parking lot, smoking. He wasn't talking to anyone, just watching. His face was shadowed by a cap, but his presence alone gave me this weird feeling, like I was being weighed or measured. 15 minutes passed. Then she came out. We got in my car. She leaned over, kissed me first. It was heated, intense, but I couldn't relax. I kept glancing at the mirror. The man in the corner was still there, still watching. Maybe it was paranoia or being too self-conscious, but the fact that there's a possibility that our whole makeout session could be watched by the stranger wasn't cool with me. So I suggested we go to a more comfy place. I asked her to let us go to hers, but she claimed her place was kind of far. We should go to mine instead. There was this not too cool expression on her face when we started the subject of whose apartment to use, as if she wasn't comfortable with the subject, but whatever expression she had on quickly disappeared when I agreed for us to use mine. I thought I was seeing things or reading too much into her body language, so I discarded the thought. She kissed me and I started the car. The drive home was uphill. The road twisted through a wooded slope, and as we rose, I caught the gleam of a headlight in my rear view. A single motorcycle still parked in front of the bar. Didn't think much of it. Back at the cabin, things escalated quickly. We were already kissing before we got to the door. I barely had time to flick the lights on. We stumbled into the living room, then into the bedroom. I forgot about the man in the parking lot, forgot about everything, until I heard the low grrrah of a motorcycle pulling up. Then silence. It had stopped just outside. I froze. "You heard that?" I asked. She looked up at me, smiling lazily. "I only hear angels right now, because you've taken me to heaven." She resumed kissing me, hard, desperate. And despite my better judgment, I let the moment take me again. But the unease never left. We eventually finished and collapsed into each other, her body warm against mine. I was almost asleep when it happened. A chorus of engines. At least 4, loud, close, snarling through the night like predators circling prey. She bolted upright. "Oh my God!" I didn't recognize her voice. It was shaken, panicked. She scrambled out of bed, clutching the sheet around her as she ran into the living room. I followed, shirtless and confused. She peeled back the curtain. Outside, 4 motorcycles. All their headlights aimed directly at the cabin. Figures stood beside them, silhouettes barely visible except for the glint of chrome and steel. One stepped forward, raised a shotgun, cocked it. I saw his face in that brief light. It was the guy from the bar. My chest seized up. "Is this?" I whispered. She started crying. "They think you're someone else," she stammered. "They think you're the guy I was seeing." "What?" "My husband. He's in a biker gang. He's in prison, but his crew still checks on me. They must have followed me to the bar or something. Then from the bar followed us here. They've been looking for someone I was. They must think it's you." My blood went ice cold. We heard them start circling the house. One of them tried the front door. Locked. "Do you have a back door?" she asked, shaking. I nodded slowly. That's when it hit me. The single bike sound I heard earlier must have been that of the stranger at the bar. He didn't attack immediately. He got to my house because he didn't know how many exits the house had. He waited for backup to surround the place, block every route. Or probably he wasn't sure if I was armed. If I should bolt out the front door now, I'd take a bullet before I hit the dirt. If I tried to jump through the window, they'd hear the sound of shattered glass and gun me down before I have the chance to run. I am also sure one of them will have positioned himself at the back door, waiting for me to use it and be killed instantly. But 3 weeks ago, I found an old door in the storage room, half covered by shelves and paint cans. It opened out to a slope behind the cabin, completely hidden by overgrowth. Without saying another word, I grabbed her wrist, dragging her toward the room. But she pulled back. "Don't let them see me with you, it will aggravate them more. Besides, it's you they really want. I will try to distract them while you escape. Simon, please don't let them catch you." I looked at her, terrified, torn. She was serious. With that said, I slipped out the hidden exit. The cold slapped me instantly, but I didn't stop running until I hit the trees. I didn't even look back until I heard the door slam open behind me. Gunshots rang out. 1. Then silence. Then crashing. They were tearing through the house looking for me. I crouched in the woods, praying they wouldn't think to check outside. Minutes passed, then more engines. Then nothing. A few houses down the hill, I heard a loud bang, a neighbor firing a warning shot. Then another. 2 more after that. The neighborhood was waking up. Some of them must have called cops. People were watching. The bikes started up again. Tires skidded. I peeked out in time to see them pull the woman onto one of the bikes before they peeled off into the dark. I wanted to call the police from a neighbor's place, but they told me they've called cops already. Told them everything. I was advised to leave for a while, but they didn't even have to tell me twice. No way I would sleep in that house again. Slept at a neighbor's place, and early morning I went back with my neighbor to pack all my things, and I left the town as soon as I could. I never found out what happened to her, but I want to believe they wouldn't have hurt her. All I know is that hidden exit saved my life, and every now and then when I think of the event of that night, I wonder, what if I had taken her home that first night, when I haven't found the hidden exit door? What if I hadn't found that back exit at all? What if that biker had chosen to act alone? Would anyone have found me at all?